It is the Riot podcast intro. What?
Hey, does that count as like pulling back the curtain? It has a name. It's our intro.
It's our intro. Well, that's what it is.
It's our introduction for today's spectacular show.
Yes, we want to start off today's show by the same way we start off every show, by letting you know what to expect, what's to come. So we brought in our show producer, Isaiah. I
think we're going to delegate each podcast intro.
Yeah.
So now Isaiah gets to do the rundown. So it's like every job we've had. Well, why doesn't Isaiah try it?
Why don't we have Isaiah do it instead of us?
I think you're going to do a great job.
Yeah.
Of course. So in today's show, we had another in-flight duct taping incident.
Yes. This one, I think we had a little bit of a different reaction to than the first time.
Compared to the lady from
that
before.
we saw before. And it seemed that the passengers did as well on the flight.
I just think, well, you'll hear it, but if there's anything else besides duct tape we should be doing, but it seems like we need to do stuff.
Yeah,
so.
Like maybe a burlap sack and
I was thinking
rope
like the big thing of bungee cords you can buy. Yeah. Just something like that.
Zip ties.
No zip ties.
Come on.
I don't think that would be good. That's worse than duct tape.
We also talked about if you get COVID, you may not just lose a couple days of work, you're going to lose a couple IQ points as well.
Actually, that's a good point. And when I was reading the study at first, I kind of thought it was funny. But then you start reading it more.
It's
and
worse.
It is sad because, part of playing into this is the story is explaining why some research has led them to believe that you may lose some of your intelligence. Spoiler
Especially
alert.
with long COVID.
Yeah, after you recover from coronavirus. But the story and the study, it's published on Mirror, which is a thing in the UK, which is another one that you just don't know. It's kind of tabloidy. So I was like, come on, they must be misrepresenting this. But as you read into it more, it's just one study and it's not entirely complete. Even they admit that. But it was kind of concerning.
Well, you'll hear about it.
I'm glad I'm vaccinated. That's what if the vaccination also
Are you
causes.
saying you have nothing else to lose?
I don't have to worry. I don't think, but maybe the vaccination also makes you dumber. We
Just
don't know.
waiting on that study.
Yeah.
And we also talked about how they aren't only trying to make me do the podcast intros, but also they're trying to get me to fix toilets in the building.
You weren't supposed to hear that part. I stood up. I said you shouldn't have to, but Hudson is just ready to literally give you everything.
I am, yeah, because
which, by the way,
you're just over.
In a few weeks, Hudson and Isaiah get to do a show together while I'm out one day. So that's the ultimate one.
Wow.
Get ready for them.
I can't wait. It's gonna be all guy talk.
Well, save the.
We're gonna just talk about urinals, walk around with our shirts off, guy
save
stuff.
until then all the building fixes. So I'll let you guys take care of it then.
Well, that sounds like we've got a lot to get to in today's podcast.
Enjoy the podcast today. Thank you, Isaiah.
Yeah.
Hopefully everybody has a wonderful day, and text and say hi at 877-RadioU and introduce yourself to Isaiah if you, as a podcast listener, have never said hi.
And don't forget to rate, review, because we haven't gotten any new reviews in a couple days. We'd like to read them. And also,
we'd like to review the reviews.
Yeah, right. And you're supposed to also subscribe, unsubscribe, resubscribe.
That's right.
Drive
Please
us up the rankings.
Have a great day.
It is the Riot.
Think of it as athleisure for your ears. RadioU's Worst of the Riot podcast.
You might have thought we were done with cicadas, right?
I hoped we were. There are still cicadas, though.
Yeah, there's some that are just constantly around.
They're
basically
just a normal thing, but I don't think we have the ones that were the every so many years.
Yes, those seem to be all dead, but they've left behind something with them. And that is
baby ones?
Well, yeah, but that's not really anything to worry about.
Have they risen from the dead?
But what some people are noticing in different areas where the cicadas happen to be, particularly, say, Arlington County, Virginia, people are complaining that they're getting mysterious insect bites. It kind of starts out with a bump, maybe looking like a mosquito bite, but after time you realize it's not a mosquito bite because
what is it?
It will expand more, and you'll see kind of like blistering welt type things around it. And it turns out, the Arlington County Health Department, in this case, They say they don't know exactly what it is, or they can't say for sure, but they think it is a mite called Pyomotes.
What is that?
Well, they live in oak trees, and so with the cicada eggs, that I guess that means they may be dropping down out of the trees in the eggs as the tree branches break off with the cicadas, and with the cicada eggs. So they are now finding them that they are biting people.
Yeah.
And that is an issue. I mean, they say it's not really serious. It's not anything worse than a mosquito bite, except that it just stays a little longer and looks a little nastier.
And blisters, that's fine. That's great.
Yeah, but it's not going to really harm you any more than your standard mosquito bite. It just looks pretty gross.
I don't know, Hudson will it? Because I think it's an inconvenience.
It is an inconvenience. But
if you've ever gotten, you've been bit by, what bit you the other day? It was
I got bit by stung by a yellow jacket.
And then what was it the week before?
A horseflies before, yeah.
A horsefly went after him twice.
Yes.
It's like, you need to be the one to watch out.
I have got to watch out for these, for these Pyomotes.
Oh, gross. So they're mites?
Yeah, so they're microscopic, so you can't exactly avoid them, but their recommendation is, avoid scratching it if you do get bitten, because that just irritates it.
Yeah.
And the same ways to avoid it applies as mosquitoes also, where it's just
stay inside.
Yeah, right. Don't even go out. Just stay out of the woods. And if you do go out in the woods, you can roll up your socks over your pant legs.
Oh, and wear long
sleeves. Yeah.
Wonderful ideas.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
What would you rather do? Roll your socks over your jeans or just stay in the house?
I'll stay in the house.
Yeah, I think that's the better choice.
For lots of reasons. I'm staying in the house.
Yeah, we don't need the Pyomotes crawling up our legs.
I'm just kind of tired of every time. I think we used to be more paranoid in the past, and then go online, you do like a search, be like, what is all this?
Yeah.
And it wasn't anything. Now it's turning into something. You're like, oh, these are these mites. Okay, great. It actually is a problem.
It's funny you mention that, because this news story, like in the local Arlington area news, it starts out with this woman. It's a mom. She's got 5 kids, and she started noticing bites. And she goes, I'm a mom of 5 kids, so I've seen every kind of bite there is. and this is different.
That's what I don't want to hear.
But what she did first was post it on Facebook. And so 158 people at the time had commented. So it used to be you would go on WebMD and look up your symptoms, and it would be, oh, you're going to die from your bug bite. Now it's Facebook telling you. All the people are like, well, none of us know what this is. You're going to die.
You're going to die, too.
Yeah, we've never seen anything like this.
Oh, I love social media.
Oh, yeah.
This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
So did you see the viral video yesterday of the guy getting duct taped to his seat on the Frontier Airlines flight?
Was he the one where he's like, my parents are billionaires or something?
Well, close. My parents are worth $2 million.
To me, that sounded like billionaire.
Yeah.
And then everybody was like, not if you're flying Frontier.
Yeah. They must have cut him off.
I know. Everybody was so mean about that. Poor Frontier is just like, hey, wait a minute.
Yeah. So the story goes, the guy's name is Maxwell Berry, which sounds like the name of somebody whose parents are worth $2 million.
Maxwell.
And he's giving Norwalk, Ohio a good name, because that's where he's from. He allegedly, because we don't have this part caught on tape, but allegedly he groped 2 of the female flight attendants and punched a male flight attendant in the face.
I'd only seen the video where he's just screaming in his seat.
You just see the aftermath, but this is what led up to that. He had, again, according to the report, he had 2 drinks, alcoholic wise, and then spilled a drink on his shirt. And at that point, that's I guess 2 drinks. Maybe he had.
He might have had stuff before the flight. I mean,
there's no way. If he's had only 2 drinks and he's acting this way,
I'm sure
he's a lot worse than we're giving him credit for. You know what I mean?
No, I gotcha.
Yeah, so he must have been pre-gaming, pre-flight drinking.
His pre-game might have included, maybe, who knows? I know some people, if they take a anti-anxiety medicine or a sleepy aid for a flight, and we'd be like, I'm going to take this with some water.
Yeah,
but maybe he was like, I'm going to take this with something else.
Maybe
we've seen problems happen from mixing things.
He had 2 drinks on the plane, and before that he had 3 $28 Sam Adams beers in the
Hey, did you see the
terminal
update on
beforehand. They dropped the price and
Yeah,
then
but
to
there was-
$18.
There's this whole big thing about that airline.
Yeah, that
Food
was
and drink.
that was at LaGuardia Airport. There was somebody audited, just posted a picture of the menu of one of the restaurants there, and they were charging $28 for a beer, and not even some highfalutin. It was Sam Adams. So
And so then they're like, no, it was supposed to be $18.50. Like, that's any better.
Yeah, really.
So then,
anyways,
apparently, when he spilled his drink, an attendant helped him get another shirt from his carry-on luggage. He walked around for 15 minutes before then this stuff with the female flight attendants allegedly happened, and then punching another one. So they duct taped him.
Yeah. So after all that is said and done, this is when he comes in where you see the video where he's cursing at people and saying, my parents are worth $2 million. Nobody wants to be near him. And finally, between flight attendants and some of the passengers, they finally restrained him and then duct taped him.
Because it was a few weeks ago, the other lady got duct taped. And so I thought when I had first seen this that the crew got in trouble.
Yeah.
They were, I don't know, fired or just reprimanded for duct taping him.
They did get suspended, but Frontier is supporting them, and basically it's almost like a little mini vacation they get because, they still have to investigate and everything. But I don't think the flight attendants are actually in trouble.
It seems like on planes we need to have something else besides duct tape, but still like rope for if someone loses it, because what are you going to do? You can't let them walk around and hurt people. You got to restrain them to the seat.
I remember because we did have that story about the duct taping woman on a previous flight a few weeks back, and I bristled at that because I was like, come on, is that really the best they can do? But that didn't have video leading up to her getting duct taped.
This one does.
This one, it's like, what else are you supposed to do?
I know.
And honestly, once you see it, you're like, I feel like it would be kind of satisfying to duct tape somebody to a chair one day.
It's really hard. You can't reason with someone.
Yeah.
And then how hard is it to reason with them and ask them politely to sit in their seat when they're losing it?
Yeah.
So for this one, you felt bad for everybody. I don't want to be on one of those flights.
Yeah.
Don't want to. Don't want to at
this
all.
would not be that would not be a relaxing, calm flight at all.
Nope. And then everybody's on alert and you have to wait while they get them off the plane.
It's really bad when the rest of the passengers start cheering when you get duct taped to a chair.
Don't say we didn't warn you. This is the worst of the riot.
Isaiah, the producer, Mr. News and Traffic, has joined us in the studio because I want to hear about your experience last night at Dime a Dog Night.
Ooh.
Yeah.
How many did you eat?
I ate
That's the big
just
question.
a simple 5.
Oh,
just
now
a simple
that's a good
5.
showing, though, still.
That's what I thought. They limit it to where you can only get 5 at a time. And I was only willing to wait in that line one time.
Yeah.
That's true. That's a good point.
Yeah, you're like, you thought, just your body keeping you from it. No, it's the lines.
Literally. A couple of my friends went back and got in line again, and I think one of my friends ate like 11 hot dogs or something like that.
Wait. So they ate 11. Does that mean they went once for 5, then a second time
Yes.
for 5, and then just for 1?
They went back for that third 5 to try to get to 15, and they were only able to eat 1.
Did hot dogs go to waste then?
Hot dogs went to waste on that one.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, you
4
know,
of them.
you could bring them to the show the following morning. We're here.
This is a tragic story. I wasn't expecting it to take this
hot
turn.
dogs.
But at Dime a Dog Night, they make so many hot dogs that even when you're eating them, you're like, these can't be that good. You know, like
You're not supposed to look into it.
No, not at all. Like you're like, I just hope that these are cooked all the way. That's all you're hoping for.
You've got to just smother it in as much ketchup and mustard as you
Don't
can
they
find.
also do they make them in like the water bath way where it's just like boiling them in water?
Right?
Yeah.
They're definitely not grilled.
No chance. They're making like thousands of those things.
And just one big
It's just
vat of hot
it's
dogs.
a bathtub.
Yeah, of it. That's so gross. Sorry to anybody who's making the Dime a Dog dogs and
Hey.
the dogs anywhere. I'm sure they're wonderful.
We've been there. I've been to Dime a Dog Night, and it gets the job done.
Yeah, it's fine.
It doesn't matter. For 10 cents, you can't be too picky.
No.
There's not many things you can eat for 10 cents that'll fill you up, or 50 cents, like if you get 5.
Well, that you're supposed to. That's not on recall or just a warning with it.
Once they recall the Dime a Dog hot dogs, it's already too late.
How long was the line?
It was long.
Yeah.
It was right when we walked in. We got there like probably 15 minutes before the game started. and it was probably like a 15-minute line
Really?
Oh, yeah.
immediately, and it just stayed steady throughout the entire game.
Oh, the workers must hate Diamond Dog
Oh, my
Night.
gosh.
But I don't know. I'm sure they do, but I wonder if you just get used to it because they do it all season long for
Every
the
Tuesday.
minor league
Every
team
Tuesday?
here. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well, you need to find a friend then who hates baseball. Who
Yes.
still wants to be with the friend
Yeah.
group, who doesn't
Doesn't
mind being
wanna
the
wait
one to
in line
wait
the
in
whole
line.
time.
Yes.
And they're just going to get the 5 hot dogs every time, and they just keep going every 15 minutes.
But I want to hear, you were telling me also about your friend that they're starting a new job today.
Yes. So my friend that ate 11 hot dogs last night is also starting a new job today. It's his first day in person. So I said, today you're going to smell like hot dogs when you walk in there. Like, no doubt.
Out of his skin.
You're going to be the new guy who just smells bad.
Why is it so salty in here?
I know. You're like, does someone have hot dogs?
Yes.
But not grilled hot dogs.
No.
Like a hot dog
It
bath.
smells like someone. Is there hot dog water somewhere around?
He's one of those guys, too, that's like when he eats them, it just looks disgusting. Like, he ate one in 3 bites, and then he went to 2 bites, and then I watched him eat one in 1 bite, and I didn't even want to see another hot dog.
Isaiah's friend, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I
come
know.
on.
It was terrible. He dipped one side in ketchup, the other side in mustard, and just wrapped it into his mouth, and I couldn't even watch the game
What?
after that. It was terrible.
Well,
What
do
kind
you
of-
want to tell his boss? Like, this is the type of guy he is?
This guy, you need to get him out of here. He'll know today when he shows up. He smells like hot dogs, ketchup, and mustard.
I'm trying to think what a job where if you ate 11 hot dogs the night before your first day, that would be a good thing.
If you were
Where
at
it
the
would,
hot dog
show that-
factory.
No, because then they'd be like, this guy's going to eat all the hot dogs off the line.
Yes.
Okay, if you worked at a bun bakery,
Yeah.
maybe that would be
He
it.
fits right in.
Oh,
or
gosh.
radio DJ. Those are the
Yeah.
only
There it is.
Those are the
Because
options.
if you look in the break room, Hudson has a hot dog like toaster.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
And
I think
he
it's put away.
I think you can use that if you want.
I've also gotten the reputation because I ate the 8 hot corn dogs
Yeah.
at
man.
Sonic the one time.
Yeah, you did.
So
Well, you
it's
actually
worked out for me.
Hudson, do you want a new friend? Do you want to
Yeah.
meet Isaiah's
Yeah.
friend?
Well,
Maybe
there
you
wouldn't be
guys-
enough hot dogs to go around for the both of us.
Yes. If he walked in today and smelled like hot dogs, you'd be like, all right, sounds like a pretty typical
just
morning.
smells normal.
A couple hot
Yeah.
dogs in the morning.
This is just what it smells like here.
It's not weird here, but if you were in like a corporate job, that would be a little
Yeah.
awkward.
Yes.
Your office job not gonna work out so
What's
well.
also worse is if you've ever met somebody who's covering up something too, and so then they really smell like
Yeah.
all the alternatives.
Yeah.
And you're like, wow, what are you doing? Like, what did you do? And
then
they find out it's hot dogs.
It's not like he puts on so much cologne
Yeah.
and it's like overpowering, but it still mixes with the hot dog smell.
It is. It's still there.
Cologne, hot dog cologne.
The Riot isn't all bad, but this is the worst of the Riot. Radio U.
I want Nikki to fill us in on the latest TikTok trend, your TikTok minute.
Oh, the frozen honey one?
Yeah.
You haven't seen that?
I haven't seen it until you just shared it with me.
Well, it's been, I feel bad because a lot of times our news sites, they're always like 3 or 4 weeks past when the trend is over.
They have to make sure it's a trend and not
by
just
that
a fad or something, you know?
So I
it has to have
see-
some staying power.
I haven't seen it for a few on the For You page, but yeah, I saw it. You take honey and I think you mix it with something, or you just put it like in a water bottle, and then you freeze it, and then you can eat it. And it's just got a little
do you
different.
mean?
Well, you
What do you
freeze
mean,
it,
eat
and then you squeeze the bottle, and it's more solid.
So what,
It's
you're
not
eating
frozen.
a whole, like a chunk of honey?
Yeah.
You can't do that.
Yeah, you can.
That's horrible.
Well, I mean,
It's not like... What
are we to say is horrible or not?
I mean,
We
wouldn't
just
you...
talked about Diamond Dog hot dogs.
Yeah, but that's not just pure sugar, really.
This is just frozen honey.
Yeah, but honey is great in small doses, but I just think if you like straight up honey, it would just be so sweet that I don't think you could handle it.
Yeah, but with trends, you have half of the trend of people just basically faking that it tastes good to make it become a trend. You know, like, oh, it's amazing.
Yeah.
And then you have the other half that's like, no, this is awful. Like, I can't eat it.
Yeah.
And then some people did like freezing corn syrup And, like sometimes the candy that comes in tubes, like toothpaste tubes, like the sour candies that come kind of like that.
Oh, yeah. Okay, sure.
So then people were trying to freeze sour candies to see how it would be too.
That sounds, I just don't think that would be for me.
Well, you don't need to.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to pass on this trend.
Hudson's not into the trend anyway.
It's too sweet. It sounds like eating cotton candy, which I also wouldn't do.
Yeah. So this is just honey in you freeze it in a water bottle, and when you squeeze it out, that's what you eat.
Do you think there would be some health effects with that?
Well, if you have honey in small doses, there's supposed to be health benefits, but we like to take everything to the extreme. And I think it would be probably not really good for you, but it's nature's candy. What are you going to do? It's bees.
Well, I don't know. Apparently some dietitians don't like it. Man, why do they... Again, I don't want to do this, and it seems disgusting to me, but...
Oh, don't tell people that's what it causes.
What?
Did you see what it causes?
What?
Okay, I'll say it nicely. There's a number 1 and there's a number 2. If you have the awful version of number 2, that's what it causes you if you have too much honey.
Oh, you mean diarrhea?
Don't say it. Don't say it. So the side effect is if you try this TikTok trend, if you have too much honey like that, that's what happens to you because you won't feel very good.
Why do they have to ruin everything?
This is your body telling you you've had too much.
This is the only way that news organizations know how to handle news is to take something and then tell us why it's bad.
Make it bad for everybody.
It can't just be this is the TikTok trend. It has to be this is the TikTok trend and this is why it's going to ruin everyone.
So you can have that. You can have the D word, stomach cramping, bloating, and other negative body problems.
What is this true that about 1 in 3 people have dietary fructose intolerance?
Well, I didn't know that.
That means
you don't know until you eat too much of it.
It says that you can't absorb fructose, which is a kind of sugar, which causes gastrointestinal distress. So I guess if you eat a frozen honey, you've got a 1 in 3 chance
finding out
that you can't do that, and then you get diarrhea.
The definition of insanity is putting the riot on again and again and expecting a better result. It's the worst of the riot on Radio U.
All the news lately, like just for the last 24, 48 hours, something like that, it's either COVID stuff, which we really don't want to get into that too much. It's too depressing. Although this is kind of depressing too. It's all airline news.
Well, at first you think airline news is all still COVID related, but this, maybe has not directly, but this is making people really mad.
Yeah.
And if you're one of the ones who've been affected by it, it seems like airlines are still having a lot of issues because flights are. I don't know if they would say they're back to normal.
Yeah.
In some cases, they said they're even more than what normally would be happening. But people are back to traveling, and the airlines are not back to being able to let you travel.
Yeah, that's right. So Spirit Airlines is the one that's really in the crosshairs right now because they had to cancel a bunch of flights, and you're like, well, what else is new? Like, that's just Spirit Airlines. But it's worse than normal. As of last night, they had canceled 60% of their flights for yesterday. So 416 flights they canceled yesterday.
I didn't even think they'd have that many flights, and the fact that that's only 60%. But they said that was their day's scheduled flights, and they had to cancel the 416 of them because of operational issues.
Yeah, that's their excuse in quotes.
Lies.
And this has been now at least 3 days in a row where they've been dealing with these. And yeah, of course, people, again, if you've ever watched at the airport, I've never flown Spirit Airlines, but if you just watch, that's the one where there's always people running around, trying to get in line, trying to, Is that
the one where they're always fighting on the planes too?
Yeah, because it's very budget.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, they kind of attract the travelers that are trying to keep it a little cheaper. And so people, I think part of that is people are already on edge because they have no leg room, like even worse than a regular plane.
That's true.
They're really packed in. And
so they're saying for this airline, for this issue, they are calling it staffing shortages, the weather, and system outages. But if you've ever been a part of a plane being canceled, it's frustrating because you feel like you're being lied to for some reason.
Yeah.
Because sometimes they don't have enough crew here, or the time ran out and they didn't have a plane ready, and then now they don't have a crew. The other issue that a lot of people were talking about too is the airlines received a lot of money, bailout money.
Yeah.
We're talking, I thought it was into the billions. And that was supposed to go towards staffing. That was supposed to go towards bringing...
Just anything to actually help the company.
Be afloat, but then stay functioning.
Yep.
And people are like, well, wait a minute. You had all this money to bring back staff. Where's the staff at?
Yeah.
But then we've talked before, there's a lack of people who want to be pilots.
Yeah.
People who want to work in the airlines right now.
Well,
so it doesn't seem like it's a simple issue to fix.
Yeah, I guess like with a lot of industries, after the pandemic where you got some time maybe off from work, you're like, oh, yeah, I guess I didn't really like it that much. And
you can't zoom in your plane flight.
Yeah, right. So people are like, I'm going to try, I'm not going to be a pilot anymore. I'm going to try woodworking or something, you know?
There's such a turnaround time. Like if you wanted to be a pilot, I don't think that's
for all the up and comers.
That's going to take a little bit of time.
You don't want, I mean, maybe Spirit Airlines would, but you don't want somebody to just roll out of bed, come to flight school for a week, and then pop them on the plane and put them in charge. But
it's like a doctor. You have to put in so many hours.
Yeah.
So if they don't have the staff, that's the shortages part. But man, that doesn't help with people traveling and everybody getting mad.
And it just comes back to my theory that more than any other industry, the airline industry just seems like somebody was forced to become the airline. You know, like it's not like Spirit Airlines started up there because they had a real vision and they know what they're doing. You know, it's like, we're going to change. We're going to provide a real good option for people. This is our strategy. It's just like somebody gave them a bunch of planes as a gift and they're like, we got to do something with them. So,
let's see how cheap we can run this.
Yeah, right. It's a turnkey operation. We have planes. We make money. That's how we do it. Doesn't matter.
It's not just Spirit Airlines. There's been others that have canceled, but
and there has
60% of flights yesterday. That's a lot.
Yeah, and to be fair, there's been a lot of weather. You can't fake that. That's real, but still.
I think they can. I think
they'll find a way.
They're putting any other excuse they can give besides we don't have enough people.
That's a good point. But even with weather doesn't cancel flights like that. You still eventually get to fly, but that's not really what's happening with Spirit at the moment.
Oh, you can't see it down here, but the weather up there is really bad.
Yeah. It's the instruments.
Trust us.
Yeah, the instruments, they're giving us real bad readings.
Can't send you up.
Yep, sorry.
The equivalent of someone's lint collection. This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Trying to shy away from COVID talk because we like to have a good time here. But I did think this study was very, very interesting. It involved researchers from Imperial College in London, King's College, and the universities of Cambridge, Southampton. Am I saying that right? Southampton.
Yeah.
And the University of Chicago as well. They did a study on people where they were handing out the Great British Intelligence Test.
Oh, I almost thought you said the Bake Off. Oh, really? Is there a new season?
They were testing the Great British Bake Off. They were seeing how well people with COVID could do the Bake Off.
Wow.
No, they did the Great British Intelligence Test, which sounds like a fake thing, doesn't it?
It does.
It does not sound real, but I assure you it's real. And I think maybe that's just kind of, maybe we're saying it wrong. Maybe it's because it's Great Britain, so maybe it's Great British Intelligence Test. It's just the wrong emphasis, but it's still, either way, that's what they called it. They handed this out to over 81,000 people to examine and rate their IQ. Among that number, about 13,000 of those people had been infected with COVID. Mm-hmm. And so going through their research, once the scientists factored in all the other factors, age, language, education level, all that kind of stuff, they found that people recovering from COVID-19 had the biggest decline in IQ and other things related to that, like basically brain activity.
Well, why do they have to bring that up? Can't they just not hurt people when they're down?
Doesn't it feel like for a long time, it's been like, if you don't care about the virus, you're just dumb. and they were like kind of implying that. And now it's literally, if you don't care about the virus and you get it, you are dumb.
They don't need to have a study to follow this up with, like if this is accurate or not.
Well, here's the situation. First of all, they found that in the worst instances, especially people who had been on a ventilator but had survived, recorded a 7-point drop on average in their IQ, which is really sad.
What a study they didn't need to do.
Yeah.
Or at least they didn't need to publish its findings.
So the reason that, or I guess it ties into people that have had long COVID a lot of times report
the brain fog.
The brain fog. Yeah. Where it's like you still just feel off and you have difficulty concentrating and maybe I have brain fog right now. I haven't had the virus, but they have the difficulty finding the correct words.
This is just showing no one needs to feel bad. We all have that.
Yeah, it happens to the best of us. So they think it's tied in with that, but they also say, and they want to make this clear, and so we should as well, you're not supposed to draw too many conclusions because this is just a intelligence test again. It's not, they haven't done brain imaging.
Yeah.
So without that, it's a study point. It's something, but it's not complete where you can really diagnose that, from COVID-19, absolutely you're going to drop your IQ.
How about we not do the brain scan thing and just move on and not worry about it, guys?
Are you saying this is a waste of taxpayer money, Nikki?
No, but I feel like that's not helpful to someone who's recovering.
Yeah.
Like, don't worry about that.
But
everything will be fine.
Wouldn't that be helpful information to know before you get it that, hey,
to think and worry about that?
Well, if it's something that could legitimately happen, you should worry about it.
I don't want to think about that.
The thing is, I do hear, the most common thing you hear with the virus is, well, I'm 35 years old, or, I'm going to be fine. Nobody dies when they're 35 years old, and nobody even goes to the hospital. I mean, that might be true, but we keep seeing these things as it does have long-term effects.
Sure.
And, I mean, the virus has only been around so long, so you can only tell so much about the long-term effects, but you got to have more information.
I tell you, though, I feel like for all of us who spent all that time at home, I feel like my IQ is probably dropped on its own. So I don't want anybody to feel bad if you had COVID. Be like, geez.
That is a good point.
I don't see that study, but I guarantee we're down a few points.
They do say, like I said, they did this test for 81,000 people. Only 13% or 13,000 had the virus.
Yeah.
The other, they didn't say their IQs didn't drop also. It just might not have dropped as much.
You won't hear a show like this anywhere else. And that's probably for the best. The worst of the riot. Radio U.
Birds stealing hair from other animals. It is a actual phenomenon, and now, thanks to a giant waste of taxpayer money, we know a lot about it.
Well, we welcome the information.
Yeah,
we wouldn't have known this without this study.
Yeah, and it is funny because the study seems to amount to a lot of YouTube watching from this.
People?
Yeah, from these researchers. But let's start off here. Birds are known to use hair from humans and other animals wherever they can get it. They will use it for their nest, but it was always thought that it was used either that they were getting it from like carcasses or something like that.
Oh, I never thought of that.
Or just discarded hair, you know, like.
I was telling Hudson, I have 3 dogs, and when my husband brushes their hair, he does it outside, and he just leaves it there, and the birds will take it, and they'll take it and build nests with it.
Yeah.
But I didn't think that birds were so dramatically needing to be more aggressive to get hair for what they're using that they do this.
Yeah, so they say this is a research that was done by Jeffrey Brown, I think was the head of the research. He's from the University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign. He's a natural resources and environmental sciences professor. And he had noticed that there was a titmouse that was carefully stealing tufts of hair from a sleeping raccoon.
They'll take it off their body.
Yeah, while they're sleeping.
While they're alive.
Yeah, not even while they're sleeping either, because once he started doing that, they started looking more into it. And they couldn't find a lot of other scientific papers about it. But what they did find was, if you look on YouTube, they found 99 instances of birds stealing hair off of live animals. And some of the videos are great. Yeah, there's a video I was watching of this bird where the raccoon is eating. The bird keeps coming up to the raccoon's back. It'll steal a bunch of hair, pluck a bunch of hair out. The raccoon will swat it away. The bird walks away for a minute, then comes back. And by the end, it's got like this beak full of fur that it's plucked off of the raccoon.
Why does it do it?
That's what they don't know. They haven't looked into it far enough yet. So they're going to need to waste more taxpayer money.
More YouTube time.
Yeah, spend more time figuring out why the birds do it. But they have figured out that the birds are indeed.
This is a statement. So, like, they say that they'll use animal hair to, like, deter predators from the baby birds.
Yeah.
But maybe if it's like, here, this is the raccoon hair that I plucked out of it while it was eating. And, and then other raccoons won't, like, come bother because they're like, oh, this bird will pluck my hair out. But I told Hudson he's got to keep his hat on. So his hair, they're going to want to look at your hair and
birds
take it.
coming. I mean, it's long, luscious locks. It would make a great nest.
I bet they would enjoy it.
And I don't want them to get involved with it, plucking it out. But, you know, it's funny. I actually have somebody I know. They got their hair cut where their hair was kind of long.
Yeah.
And so they wanted to do something with it where, like, cutting all that hair off. But their hair wasn't quite long enough to do locks of love.
Oh, so they couldn't donate it?
So then they were like, but maybe I can put it out on my porch and have the birds come take it and make it for a nest. But they looked it up and it says you're not supposed to do that.
Oh, gosh.
There's actually apparently somebody online says don't put your hair out for birds.
Is it human hair?
Yeah. I don't know if it's because it's
so long, probably.
Yeah, I don't know if it can like choke them or something.
Can you imagine your neighbors or like people walking by like, why is there this long thing of human hair outside your door?
They're also like, why is there so much bird poop everywhere? Yeah. Oh, because this is the bird nest house. Look at all those beautiful bird nests.
I don't think we should do that. So I'm glad it didn't work out. But that's nice to, they should have just kept growing it till you could donate it.
Yeah. Or they could have just given it to the birds and it would have been a good story and we just could have... They could have contributed to this study a little bit, maybe.
Well, no, not if it's bad for them, like human hair, because then you find out, like, who's mysteriously killing all these local birds, and you didn't know it was you.
The bird hair strangler.
There's no fresh by date because it was spoiled when they made it. Worst of the riot. RadioU.
We've got a little situation here, Nikki.
What happened?
We're going to need to call someone.
What do we have to do?
Fix the urinal.
Is it in the boys' bathroom?
Yeah. Well, it's not in the women's.
Is something wrong? Is it where it doesn't stop running?
Yes,
Didn't you
it's
guys
doing
say
that. It's doing that again. The bathroom's going to be flooded.
Why doesn't someone catch it? Or
is your urinal running? Why doesn't someone go catch it?
Okay, well, I don't know much. But is there something like you're supposed to wiggle or, like,
well, is a handle.
A button or something?
It's not the automatic kind anymore.
Do you turn the water off or something?
I've had to do that before.
Yeah.
You
is
go
that
find
like restarting it?
No, that's just turning it off.
Well, no, you like rebooting your computer.
Yeah.
Just turn the water off.
I think you turn in the past. I've had this happen where I was the only person in the building, and I loved making the phone call to Chris. Where it's, hey, Chris, I don't want the building to be flooded tomorrow.
Can it flood, or does it just sound like it's running the whole time?
It seems that it just keeps running, but it doesn't quite. The water filters through just fast enough that it doesn't leak out of the urinal too much. But
and then also you get would you get a really high water bill?
Probably, yeah. So sorry, guys, we're going to have to extend the RadioU fundraiser because to pay for the urinal water situation.
So is this your way of telling Chris, who's probably right now driving into work?
He might be.
Let him know.
I just went right before we started talking, so I didn't have time to jiggle with it or anything.
Sure,
so I'm going to have to go take a look.
It. Come on, get a YouTube video on there.
Wait, we have a producer.
Don't
Isaiah.
Ask Isaiah.
Come on.
I don't want to have that meeting after, Isaiah, no one said he'd have to do that.
This is what he's here for, to deal with stuff. Our job is to talk. and his job is to deal. He's a fixer, is what Isaiah is. He takes care of the problem.
But that's a building problem.
Yeah.
That's not a show problem.
Well, it's a show problem if the building is flooded or if we can't go to the bathroom.
We're not going to be flooded out of this room. I think it's fine. We'll put sandbags out there.
That's what people say at the beginning of a problem, and then you don't heed the warnings, and then all of a sudden,
then we have a bigger problem.
Yeah, it's fine. The urinal will stop running eventually.
Now, Mike just texted in. It says, it's funny you say this. He was at Walmart a few days ago in the restroom, and they had a trash can under, I hate saying it, the urinal, because it was pouring out of it.
Oh, no. And that was their idea?
That was it. That fixes it.
All right, I'll go get a trash can.
Get one and then
Ours
put it
is
under.
Pretty low to the ground. But then wait. What happens when the trash can starts overflowing? It doesn't have a drain?
No, you pour that into the toilet, and then you just flush the toilet, and problem solved.
That's a big... that's a lot of trouble for me to go through.
Well, do you want to fix the problem or not, Hudson?
I would like Isaiah to go do all of this.
Are you delegating? Is that the sign of a good leader?
We still have to be here to talk, so...
I can excuse you for a moment if you need to go flush.
But if I have to continually dump the urinal trash can into the toilet, then I'm going to be gone for a while.
Hudson, first off, it doesn't seem like you really want to fix this. You just want to talk about it.
It is good content, isn't it?
You're talking, you're not fixing. Second, it's not gushing out. Like, how often would you have to?
We don't know. I just flushed shortly before we started.
Oh, gosh, what if it's
I could go back in there as soon as I'm done talking here, and it might be everywhere.
Okay, well,
it might be.
Hey, guess what? I'll let you go right now.
Okay, all right. Gonna go do a urinal inspection.
We would say rate and review the podcast. But let's be honest, that would probably hurt more than hell. The worst of the Riot podcast.
All I know is my headphones and all. I can't hear them.
Well, okay, I'll just relay it to you then. What he was saying was he fixed the urinal for us.
For you.
For us, temporarily.
For the building.
It helps everyone that it's fixed. But he was saying that there was some gunk stuck in the handle.
Yes.
And that's the same kind of gunk that you could find because it's just from the hard water, I guess.
I guess I don't want to hear the word gunk.
You could find the gunk. It's the same kind of gunk that could build up in the sink, in the water fountain, in the ice maker. It's just the regular water gunk. It's not exclusive to the urinal.
I just don't like it. Is that the handle you flush with, or do you flush a urinal, or what do you do?
Yeah, you flush it. We used to have an automatic flushing urinal, but I think that broke too often. So he had to switch to a manual.
Oh, gosh. I don't think we should share this with everybody just to let them know.
We used to have an automatic. Now we have to drive stick.
So wait, is the automatic one, did that mean like if someone used the bathroom and stepped away, it would just always flush afterwards? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that seems more modern than
but
you have to flush yourself.
Technology is not infallible. And that one often would start flushing while you were still standing in front of it.
I had no idea. No idea.
And then sometimes it just wouldn't flush, and sometimes it would do what this one is now doing, which is flush continually without real reason. Yep. So, man, it's a hard life for us men in the urinal.
I feel like it's we have to. Every person here at RadioU needs to have some sort of other thing that they know. Like someone else has to know plumbing.
Yeah.
Someone needs to be like a doctor or a nurse. So like if someone gets sick, they can write a prescription.
Yeah.
And someone else needs to do like pet sitting.
Yeah.
And so we need to have everybody be able to have an alternate thing so that when something comes up here at the building, we can call on that person.
We need like a lawyer.
Good
that
call.
That would be helpful to have a lawyer. And we should get somebody that's a cook.
Oh, the lawyer could be like the tax person also.
Oh, yeah.
And then someone with nutrition to help and tell us. And they could also do the food fight items.
Yeah. A personal trainer, DJ would be good.
Oh, my gosh. These are great ideas.
This would all be very helpful.
So all RadioU staff, we're going to need to go to school at night or online during our downtime.
DeVry University or something.
I don't know if that's still a thing.
Yeah, that's still a thing.
No, it was always like the University of Phoenix.
Yeah.
It was always the online
Now
one.
every university is like the University of Phoenix.
That's true. Well, thank you, Chris, for fixing whatever was going on out there. I didn't want to go out and have
urinal water
from
on your shoes.
And you not tell me it's from there. I go home and I'm just getting, it's like, I just leave my shoes on the couch or everywhere.
If you missed out on the next Riot moment when it originally aired, you don't know how lucky you are. You're listening to the Worst of the Riot podcast.
When I was a kid, I always had the impression, you were told that if it was a thunderstorm, you had to turn off your video games because the lightning could come right through the controller and shock you.
Oh, I always thought too, like the TV, you should turn the TV off.
Yeah.
And you were supposed to unplug the TV.
And eventually it was just like or if you followed that, yeah, you had to unplug all of your electronics. And it's like, wait, nobody's doing that.
Well, no one's my phone, I don't think they can jump to my phone or my iPad.
But back when you were younger, though, when it was like you had to unplug all these things, nobody unplugged everything that they had.
But if it struck your house, like I remember our RadioU studios got struck by lightning. It destroyed everything.
Yeah, it can.
And it went through all the wires.
But you can't just, every time there's a thunderstorm, what are the odds? I think you just got to take your chances.
Until you have to buy a new Switch because it was in the dock. You're saying that now.
Well, you get rental insurance for that.
I don't think that works.
Come on.
You go to your rental insurance and you're like, my Switch got destroyed. I was charging it.
It was destroyed inside your apartment. It's your property, and it was destroyed by nature.
Yeah, but you pay for rental insurance, but you're not supposed to claim anything because then your price goes up.
Yeah, that's true. But small price to pay for a new Switch. Well,
yeah. Wait until, is it October when the new one comes out?
Yeah, then make your claim.
Then make your claim and get the new one. But go ahead and pre-order.
Yeah, so I always thought, I never stopped playing video games when it thunderstormed. It was just like you took your chances. What are the odds of getting struck by lightning?
Did it happen to somebody?
It actually did. And just this weekend in Mount Juliet, Tennessee, it seems, there was a guy playing video games. It was about 9:15 at night. He was playing. Now, this is important and maybe even obvious to some. He was playing with a corded controller.
So that's why.
TV, they're not sure if the lightning struck his house or if it was somebody nearby, but it still went through the wiring and whatever. But it went into his home. It went through the TV and the video game console and through the wired controller and wound up shocking him. Fortunately, he was okay. He didn't die, and he was actually well enough to call 911 right after it happened.
He had to go to the hospital.
Yeah, it was a pretty intense situation. So it's not just a myth. So there's your lesson. Use a wireless controller.
I know that we can still go. Okay, so flag on the play though. What if, because we read a lot of stories that aren't true. What if this is like a way for your mom to get you to get off the game?
That's what I always thought it was.
So they float some of these stories out every so often so they can say, no, look, we gotta stop playing while the storm goes through.
Yep, just like the stories that it's like, if you leave your laundry in the dryer, it can catch on fire.
I've not heard that before.
Well, I've heard that.
And it rhymes.
Yeah, it actually does. And I think that's always just a way of your mom being like, see, you can't just leave your laundry in there. You got to go deal with it. So.
I just remember you can't swim after you eat.
Yeah,
that's
another one. Yeah.
And that was just to get you to have some downtime.
All of these times that your parents lied to you, and we're still not sure, no matter how much we grow up, if they were telling the truth or not.
Well, in this case, it's good that if it was true, he's okay. And this is the sign that you're supposed to get a wireless controller.
Yeah,
so
that's
really,
right.
You should go ask your mom, even if you don't live at home, that it'd be safer if you had one. So if you don't, if something happened, she'll get you one.
Yep, exactly. Just for safety.
The worst of the riot is over, but the fun can keep going.
Hey, I saw you checking out my goods.
Check the Riot blog or stalk us on social media.
You want to sample them? A little try before you buy, huh?
Through riot.radiou.com.